Sorry for the interruption. This is part two to Pure Imagination. Um, what I was saying was that don't allow the darkness to misappropriate your imagination by flooding it and contaminating it with fear, because if that happens, you're not going to do anything in your life. You're not going to move forward. You're not going to progress. You're not going to try different things. You're not going to be curious as to why you have talents and abilities and why you should use them, and being gravitating towards whatever element of life or facet of life or aspect of life they're supposed to be applied to. So this is how the darkness essentially cripples you and paralyzes you and prevents you from reaching your optimum peak efficiency, your unlimited transformative potential, by causing you to be like burrowed into a hellacious comfort zone. So the analogy I gave before in the previous video was that many people were always afraid to take the stage, because after my open mics or before my open mics, basically what I was doing was I was trying to inspire people to become the highest versions of themselves. And all I heard was, well, my aunt told me when I was 7 I was no good. So, that keeps, reverberating in my mind. And like, that's usually what happens when somebody of a negative nature in your childhood tells you you're stupid, you're ugly, you're dumb, you don't have what it takes, you're not smart enough, you're not gifted enough, you're not talented enough, you'll never make it, you don't have the guts to do it, whatever it is. Well, you have to know something. They lied. These are people who are insecure about themselves, and they didn't have the intestinal fortitude or the will or the courage to go and create their dreams. This is the reason why you have critics, music critics, movie critics, television critics, because a critic is nothing more than a person who is too afraid to live their dreams. So therefore, they're going to spend the rest of their life condemning people who did have to do something with their dreams. They were courageous enough to make it happen. So now they're going to give you the 2 thumbs up or the 2 thumbs down or 5 stars, whatever kind of nonsense. Restaurant critics, they're all the same. They're all the same. These are miserable people. There is nothing constructive about criticism. The word constructive criticism is a misnomer and an oxymoron. To say constructive criticism is like saying clean dirt. It doesn't exist. Criticism is just another form of negativity transferring itself to someone positive in the hopes to destroy them, to make them as miserable as the person who transmitted those energies. That's all that's going on there. So don't be afraid to live your dreams. Don't allow fear to contaminate your imagination. You will catch yourself how many times when you are confronted with something that's making you feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar, or something that you're not used to, or something you can't recognize. And that's the universe's way of calling you, saying, hey, man, try this thing out. You might be really good at it. That's why you found yourself in that place. You're being drawn to it for a reason, because God gave you these talents and gifts and ability and wisdom and intelligence and capabilities to make these things happen. Practice breeds proficiency. Perfection does not exist. Practice, and then you will become proficient. Even the world's greatest virtuoso guitarists had to start with the simple, C major scale, and then work their way up. Or a concert pianist, or anybody. Doesn't matter. You got to start with the first note. And before you hit that first note, you got to get over the fear of it. Why do you have that fear? It is an instilled fear that is through unconscious social programming. It is not an instinctive fear. There's a difference. You must be able to differentiate between the two. Instilled fear is a social mechanism designed to destroy any attempts at you progressing in your life. Instinctive fear is our 6th sense of intuition, which is actually the first sense of the soul. When you're in a room alone and you're being watched, that is your intuitive self kicking in. That is a predatory response and reflex that keeps you alive in a prehistoric situation. Back when we used to live out in the woods, and when you're being watched. So essentially, that is your intuition saying, hey, you're being hunted. Something is stalking you. Something is preying upon you. Watch your back. And it gives you an opportunity to create a defense in opposition to that, possible attack. But it's something that carried over into modern times. So use it to your advantage. Embrace it. Use it, but don't let fear contaminate your imagination to such a point where you become debilitated by even pondering a suggestion that you want to move forward in your life, because it's going to paralyze you. It's going to cripple you. It's going to debilitate you. It's going to neutralize you. It's going to flood your mind with millions of excuses why you shouldn't do this beautiful new thing that the universe is presenting to you. And it's not going to give you one reason why you should. It's not going to offer you one single reason why you should. But if you follow the divine in you, the divine will give you an innumerable amount of reasons why you should, and it will not offer you one excuse why you shouldn't. So you got to find, where do you want to plant the roots of your soul, in the darkness or in the light? It's just common sense. If you're happy doing nothing with your life, being miserable, being angry, watching the same routine unfold like a broken record, like a rerun on television in a cyclical negative looping pattern, then do nothing with your life. But if you want to change that paradigm, then you have the power to change it. And how do you change? You have to change yourself. You have to change your frequency. You have to change the way you think, the way you act, the way you feel. All of it has to be in alignment with this new beautiful transmission from the divine. It's an offering saying, here, become an architect, become a mathematician, a scientist, a teacher, be a musician, be an astronaut, be whatever you want to be. If you want to do something, you have the talent and ability for it, the natural inclination, and you have the attributes to do it, then go for it, man. Then do it. You know what I mean? That's why the universe gave you what you have, to use it, not to waste it. A member of my family, who's much older than me, was given the most incredible level of intelligence I've ever seen in my life. This individual taught themselves calculus in the ninth grade, everything. I mean, most amazing intellectual person I've ever met in my life, and he did nothing with his life. Zero. Squandered everything, did nothing, accomplished nothing. And that is a life wasted. Don't be that. You don't have to be that. It's up to you, But tap into the unlimited transformative potential of your pure imagination. There's no limit. The only limit is what you're placing on yourself, and that's fear. That's it. What are you afraid of? Afraid of what? Oh, somebody won't like me? Who cares? Not everybody likes pizza. Not everybody likes Led Zeppelin. Not everybody likes Star Wars. You think that stopped the people from making those things? To put it out there? No. You're never going to please all the people all the time. So why do you even care about pleasing any of them any of the time? Please yourself. Toot your own horn. You be the judge of yourself. All these social programming mechanisms they use to cripple you, you need to discard them, man, because that's what's been paralyzing you all along. What are you afraid of? Fear of being ridiculed by others? Who cares? What people think about you is worth less than a pile of dry dog poop. And that's the straight out truth. When you care more about what someone thinks about you than what you think about yourself, you are giving them the power of your life. Why would you do that? If you can imagine it, you can have it. Your imagination is like, how do I put it? It's like a visualization chamber, a preconceptual visualization chamber in the physical. But what your imagination really is those things that you're envisioning in your imagination really exist in your imagination. And the universe is saying, you can bring this over into the world of the physical if you want. You just have to follow the steps to get there and make it happen. You have to create that bridge so they can come across into the world you're living in right now. And that's a video I did previously about when you wake up, be positive and build the bridge for your dreams to come over into the world of the physical. Don't use negativity to destroy that bridge. The same holds true here. Don't let fear contaminate your imagination. It's just as simple, man. You either want to be an ally for yourself or your own worst enemy. It's just that simple. No one can save you from yourself, not even God. But you can.